Hello, children of Florida and other children out there who may or may not be listening. This is your father speaking, and today we're going to talk about business, your business. But first, I require something cold to drink. Why? Because it's February, that's why. And today I'm having a Chunky Monkey, my favorite. By the way, good on you guys. Not everyone would open up their home to migrants and their couches. Not everyone's home would be willing to be a sanctuary city for migrants. Incidentally, the Chunky Monkey recipe is in a blender. You put milk or almond milk or whatever, but some kind of milk, about this much. And then you put a big heaping spoon of peanut butter in there on the milk, and then you put a little teaspoon of cocoa powder, and then you put maybe a half a scoop of protein powder, something that's like a vanilla protein powder, and some ice. Put some ice in there and blend it and makes like a little ice cream drink. It's called a Chunky Monkey. The question is, I have a business. That business is not as profitable as it used to be. And so what is a different business? I have a few thoughts on this question. What's a different business that I can do? My very first answer is don't be so hasty to look for different business. And here's why. Every industry, or virtually every industry, has people who are phenomenally successful and people who are not. And the difference isn't because this person happened to choose the correct business. It had more to do with skill. The world does not care and should not care about your hard work. What do I mean by this? I mean, if you use volleyball as an example, you can have people who don't make the team, or maybe they're on the JV team, who work really, really, really hard. Maybe they work harder than you do. Maybe they are very sore and tired at the end of the day, and you're not, because they worked so hard. There are grown-ups in the world as well who will point at their hard work. I work harder than anybody, but the world doesn't reward your effort. The world rewards your skill. And the reason somebody is on a traveling volleyball team and not maybe a JV team or sitting on the bench, that has to do with skill and results and outcomes. People in a business, any business, whether you're reselling products that you get at a thrift store, or you're selling snakes and breeding equipment, or you're selling a service like lawn mowing or window washing, people who make lots of money at those businesses are more skilled than the people who make less money at those businesses. Has nothing to do with the work. So there are people who resell things who make 100, 200, 300,000 a year. There are some who make 7 figures a year, not many. A new business is exciting for 2 or 3 months until you hit your first big roadblock. And what most people do, instead of going to business practice and figuring out how to overcome this roadblock, which is called building your skill, what they usually do is they stop and say, this is the wrong business. I need to do a different business. Oftentimes this is a mistake because the old business you already had processes, you had systems, you had equipment, you had a way of doing things that's better than when you first started. And so what a lot of people do is, rather than figure out the problems, because business people are problem solvers, rather than solving problems, and I'll give you some examples of how to do that in your business, what they do is they start a different business. Because new businesses, let's be honest, new businesses are exciting. They're fun to talk about. They're fun to mess with. But at some point, a new business becomes an old business. And old businesses are boring or difficult or kind of a pain in the ass. When you get to the point that your business is a pain in the ass, That's when the work starts. Pardon me while I get a bite of Chunky Monkey. So I'm going to give you the answer you want, and I'm also going to give you the answer that I think is accurate, and I'm going to give you a little bit of perspective. First, the answer you want. Let's get to the candy. The best first business for anybody to do, I believe, is a service-based business, because you can go get money right now and it doesn't cost a lot of money for equipment or a building or supplies, that sort of thing. I'm talking lawn mowing. I'm talking website design. I'm talking window washing. I'm talking things that you can do for somebody. Cleaning out a gutter, that's a service-based. Hanging Christmas lights in a fancy dancy neighborhood is a service-based business. Things that don't require a lot of learning curve. You can learn to mow grass. You can learn to clean a window. Cleaning a window actually does have a learning curve to it, though not too steep. But a service-based business, and bust ass at that business for 2 to 5 years, save your money, and then flip and transition into something that's maybe a little bigger, better, faster, a different kind of business. Fixing iPads are a service-based business that you can do. Now, here's the real answer. The real answer is it doesn't really matter. The business you're in is the best business to stay with, because the problem isn't profitability. The problem is skill. What do I mean by this? This is where hard work comes to play, because it's like it's not as profitable. That could mean a lot of different things that you are currently unaware of. It could mean that your product line is seasonal and it sells during certain months out of the year, and other months it doesn't sell. It could be that your thumbnail game and your titling game is not that good, and so that's an area you need to improve upon. It could be that there are lots of competitors on, say, eBay, and so now you have to move to Instagram or Facebook Marketplace, or looking at other platforms and distribution channels. It could be pricing. It could be the thing that you're selling is out of vogue and you need to get rid of it and get back to cash, which means buy one, get one free. Buy one and I'll throw in these other 2 things. It could be you're just not being creative, and that your competitors are selling, let's say, a pair of shoes, but you sell a pair of shoes with a polishing kit, a pair of shoes with some kind of 2 or 3 things as an add-on bonus that they don't do. It could be the places you're sourcing them, you're paying too much and other people are sourcing them there. There's 101 ways to source products. One is to go right to the person who has the shoes and skip the goodwill. So maybe that's telling people you'll pay cash for the shoes in their possession right now. It could also be diversification. You're selling 1 line or 2 lines or 3 lines, and maybe you need to open up 5, 6, 7, or 8 lines. Could be the clients you have, and you better have a client list. Don't throw away the list of people that have already given you money for something, but it could be if they're buying shoes from you, what else would that demographic want to buy from you that aren't shoes? Like hats, maybe, for example. It could be that you need to learn accounting and not quit buying expensive things for yourself, so you have plenty of cash to invest back into your business. A business is like a baby. It's a baby business. Now, the cash flow is the lifeblood of that business. So here's my question. An adult can give so many liters of blood at a blood bank and be just fine. It's actually healthy to take blood out of an adult male or an adult female. If you had a little baby that's 6 months old or 3 months old, how much blood do you let that baby donate? Think about your business in similar terms. A business makes money, but not really. When people say their business doesn't make money for 6 months, what that means is money came in the door and they didn't get to spend any of it on themselves. Guard your cash zealously. And now finally, here's a little bit of perspective. You're 16, Emma is 14. You have 2 more years till you are 18, and you have the world to do with as you please. You can open your own bank account. You will be autonomous. You will be free. It's a very short period of time. It's only 24 months. So my admonition to you, and to Emma, it's 2 additional years, but it'll go by fast. Don't worry about your cash flow situation right now. Worry about this. You've got a few things that you're doing. You're doing school, you're doing a side hustle, and you're doing athletics. Leave it at that. Do 2 or 3 things well. The moment you start opening up new side hustles, different side hustles, better side hustles, another new side hustle, you'll end up sucking at 19 things. Hang in there, be patient, and even with your business, I would say don't judge things too quickly. If you start a new enterprise and you're working at it legitimately, let's say every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, but you're doing it every day, you don't get to have an opinion about it for at least 6 months, 90 days. I wouldn't work a week or 2 in a business and then decide about whether or not it's profitable. I wouldn't work a month or 2 in a business and decide whether or not it's a good idea. I wouldn't allow myself the luxury of having an opinion about a business until I've grind away at it for a little bit. The bare minimum when you step back is 3 months. So if you've been working at a business for 3 months, that means 3 months straight. That means no breaks. That means a lot of different things. And so the perspective is the few things that are in your world right now, it's better to get better. It's better to improve yourself. It's in the Genesis chapter 3 story. Adam was in the garden, chapter 2 rather. He worked and he cultivated the garden. Everybody gets the work part right. Nobody gets the cultivate part right. Cultivate means to improve upon. Cultivate means to improve upon yourself and your circumstance and the things around you. So most people that work a job or do something and they've been doing the same thing for 10 years and they're not really making a lot more money, it's because they don't improve. They're doing the same work day after day after day. Nothing wrong with that. But in the business world, we have to improve. And improve means I'm becoming more of an expert at the thing that I'm doing than I was yesterday. I would recommend don't look at profitability right away. It'll come. I would recommend look at the business, stay close to the money, and just sort of figure out where you can improve just 1%, one tiny little bit that might help to sell more or might help to increase the margins just a tiny bit. It could be adding something on this plus this and then raising the price a little bit. But learn from your peers, the people ahead of you that are making good money that you can see they have a YouTube channel or whatever. But my admonition would be stay with the things you have. Don't jump from thing to thing to thing. And yeah, I suppose that's all I have for now. Questions, queries, posers, put them down below, and you and I will talk again soon.